Okay guys, welcome back. Okay, so I just cut the package here because I didn't want to have to cut it in front of you. I haven't quite looked at anything yet, so here we go. We got the 6001C reader. I was really interested in getting the 6011, but I haven't got that one yet because I'm really interested in the ABS. This one doesn't do that if you've checked the package in detail, which was on the back. The one thing that it does do that I am interested in, compared to, if you've seen the one that I did for the 4001, it would be, I like the onboard, but the O2 sensor test. That's what I'm really interested in for my particular case. I want to see how that works. So I'm going to show you how that works and a few other things when we get over there to the car. I do have an O2 sensor reading, so I'm very interested. Now, the first thing that I want to look at when I open this up, and if you remember the 4001, when I did that one, the packaging kind of scared me, because when I opened the packaging, I said, boy, they didn't spend any money on that. And if you remember on that video and on that review on the website at backyardmechanic.org, that review was skeptical because of the packaging, but excited when we got into it and found out that that extra money went into the internal parts of it, and they did a lot of other stuff that I enjoyed using it. And so now I'm not so skeptical. I see this type of packaging and I'm like, why waste the money? Even the bags and such that they put them in. I don't need a bag. I have a tool bag. I can stick it in there. I'm not worried about damaging this because they are pretty solid. You can see, again, once again, we're made of the same material of like the round back guitar, so it doesn't scratch or anything like that. So I'm not concerned with the packaging. Used to be, not anymore. Here, if we need these, we'll go back to it, but I don't think that we'll need them. Pretty cut and dry here. So one of the things that I want to look at right away, I want to know, is the pin connector here. Let's get that off. Is it a 16 pin? That's important to me. And yes, it is. It is 16 pin. So if you remember the Actron and such, some of those were 9 and 12 pin. There's some data there that you can't get from the car if you don't have enough pins to retrieve the data. Every little piece of information requires another pin depending on the settings of your ECM. So now we also notice we have a cord here. This is for updates. The beauty of this C reader is that it stores the information on the 6001. So I'm interested in that. Why? Because if you don't have internet access, you can still use this code reader. So that's very important to me too. I'm excited about that. So let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in. Let's check it out. Right there on the bottom is where you're going to plug into your USB. It's got a little cover there to keep the dust and such out of it. So that's kind of cool. And that's where that's going to go, and plug it into your computer to upload on your PC. But once again, that's for upload purposes only. This is going to store the information. Other OBDs, some of them do not. The 4001 did. Actron, I use several different OBDs. There's some of them that do not store the information. They just give you the code, P0131 or whatever. P0131 I think is, I don't remember what it is, but whatever it is, you just get the code. Then you have to go search the code. You have to pull up a book, or you have to Google it, or whatever you have to do. This 6001 is not going to make you do that. It's going to store the information. That's what they said. You have onboard monitoring on this thing that you don't have with the 4001. You're going to have onboard control that you don't have with the 4001. And you're going to have the O2 sensor test that you don't have with the 4001. Once again, I did really like this 4001. I enjoyed using it, and I will continue to use it. But this one here, I'm a little more excited about because of those three things. So let's get it plugged into a car that we know has a problem, that we know has a code, and we know it's an O2 sensor code. Let's get excited, and let's go check this bad boy out. Okay guys, so here we are inside the car. Now we're going to go underneath the steering wheel to the left, and I think most of you know this, but if you don't, your OBD port is going to be right down there up under the dash. So we're going to go ahead and just plug it in here. And this particular car is one of the favorite cars of any mechanic that knows cars. This is the car that we all love. Why? Because it makes us a lot of money. So I'm in a Ford Taurus. It's a 2006. I'm not trying to dog Ford at all, and I hope they don't leave me a bad review or something, but let's face it, all of you know, if you're a mechanic, this is the car that is our bread and butter. So that's horrible. Sorry guys. So I turned it on here. I just plugged it in actually. It popped on. You don't have to turn it on. There's no battery backup on this. It does have a battery in the memory of the system that holds information, but it doesn't have a battery to keep it on. You're not going to be able to keep it on unless you're plugged in. And it's not going to work unless you turn the key on. So we'll start off with that. And I'll show you that. Here we go. We'll hit diagnose. Yeah, I just hit it. I think I'm on my iPhone here. So let's hit OK. We're going to process. It shouldn't find anything. Yeah, see all the fails? Because the key is not in the on position. Now, you don't want the key in the accessory position. You want it, or actually you want it one past that onto the on position. You don't want to start the car, although the C-Reader 6001 will allow you to read while you're driving down the road. So it's not going to hurt if it's running. You'll still get the same information, if not more. But in this particular case, we're not going to do that. So there's our communication error, and that's because the key is not on. We'll start it. Let's shut all this off. We will start it though. I'm going to shut the door, but not right now. Let me roll the window down. It's a little bit warm in here. We can run it down the road shortly, but right now it's not necessary. So, and that's for the onboard reading. So there's our check engine light right there. So let's go ahead and jump back over here. We're going to hit back, and we're going to hit diagnose again. So once again, I'm eager to find out about this O2 sensor. And keep in mind, when you get these codes, if you guys are having issues, I need to say this real quick. If you're having issues with multiple codes, don't always assume. They always say go with the easiest code first or the first code first and take care of that problem first. Well, most mechanics are going to tell you, if he's a knowledgeable mechanic, no. Find the common denominator between those codes. If you're having an issue with that, let me know. This thing has 13 codes. See, and most of the time, 13 codes will normally be one item. Most mechanics won't tell you that. We got to clear the codes one by one. It's how we have to find it. Well, they're rookies, in my opinion. I like to find the common denominator and try to figure out what exactly is causing all of it. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know that. And so if you guys have an issue with that, let me know. I think maybe on the website, backyardmechanic.org, I will probably put a section with codes and how they relate to each other. Maybe that will help somebody. I don't think anybody's done that yet. So I'm going to try to scroll down here. Let me see if I can figure out how to do it. We go sideways and down, nothing. We're going to hit OK. We're going to read the codes. Let's hit OK again. Get supported DTC, which I think we already did actually. Okay, so I got a P. I have 27 codes. That's good. The more information you have, the better. So we have a P0171. This particular code is going to tell me that my system bank is running lean. Now, here's the funny part, and this is going to confirm what I said to you. Now, what was that, system 1? That system 1 is running lean. Remember that. System 2 is running rich, bank 2. Random multiple cylinder misfire. Cylinder 2 misfire. Cylinder 3 misfire. Cylinder 4 misfire. What is the odds that all of your spark plugs are bad? So if we've seen one cylinder, we'd check a wire or we'd check a plug, right? But because we have this, some mechanics will tell you, let's take care of one code at a time. If I did that, let's back up to this one. If I did that, there's my system 2 misfire. So let me change that plug and that wire, right? No, wrong. Because something else is causing every one of them to misfire. That's a perfect example of what I was explaining. Cylinder 5, cylinder 6, I'm looking for an O2 sensor situation. Here's exhaust gasket recirculation control circuit. There's my O2 sensor. O2 sensor, signal base stuck lean, bank 1, sensor 1. That's going to be, bank 1 would be the same side of the engine that the number 1 cylinder is. And sensor 1 would be the first cylinder before the cat. So let's see what we got here. Sensor 2, signal base stuck rich, bank 1, sensor 1. We're stuck rich and we're stuck lean. So are we going to try to fix the problem that's lean, or are we going to try to fix the problem that's rich? Or are we going to do one at a time? Absolutely not. We need to find the common denominator because 27 codes is incorrect, because there's going to be 1 to 2 items causing all this. I hope that makes sense, and I really hope you guys visited me at backyardmechanic.org to understand this more. So this way you're not going into a auto shop and they're going to rip you off. I really hate seeing that. We'll get into that more later. So stuck based. I don't want to sit here and go through all of these because we're talking more about the C-Reader. So let's get out of here. Let's back up. So now we can go, I can erase these codes, and which I'll show you how to do that. I don't care that they're erased. They're going to come back. So let's go to erased. Now remember, if you erase a code, it's not simply just going to disappear and you're good. It's going to come back if you don't fix the problem. So if you have a code that's reading an alternator charging situation and you replace the alternator, don't assume that your check engine light's going to go out. You still need to erase the code to tell the ECM, hey, I fixed the problem, now get rid of this code, I'm tired of staring at the engine light. And if you don't fix the problem, you can't just go erase the code, because then the ECM says, okay, I'll clear the code for you, no more check engine light, and then when you start the car and drive it, they go, hey, we have a problem again, and they throw the code again. I think you understand that, and there's a huge misconception on that. So don't just erase it if you haven't fixed the problem. If you erased it and it comes back, remember, the problem still exists, and you didn't fix the problem, you fixed something else. So let's go ahead and erase this code. Clear and reset emissions related diagnostic information. Are you sure? Absolutely, we're sure. Oops, okay here. Please turn the engine off. With the engine off, press enter to continue. That's pretty interesting, because the Actron does not do that. You just clear it. So let's go ahead and shut it off. And let's hit OK. Connector is connected to the vehicle DSC. If the engine is on, verify that the vehicle is on. Not sure why we had to do that, but okay. Okay, I think I may have backed up and did that wrong. So let's check it again. Let's diagnose. My key is on, failed, okay. Here's our codes. We're gonna hit OK. We're gonna go down to erase, hit OK. Clear, reset, OK. Please turn engine on with engine off. Press enter key to continue. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So that's where I went wrong. I thought it was telling me to shut it off. Let's just leave it on, we'll hit OK. Now we are processing. Emissions related diagnostic information has been cleared. Okay, so we're good. So now let's jump up to read codes again. And we'll just leave the ignition on still. The vehicle has no fault codes. So if you get that, can you see that? Vehicle has no fault codes. Then you have no codes. If you're having a problem with your vehicle and it's not running right, and you pull this up and there's no codes, please visit me at backyardmechanic.org so you can understand what's going on. There's a couple of things, mainly fuel. So we'll get into that later, a fuel pump, fuel filter, etc. But most of the time it's fuel if your car is running like crap and you have no codes. Anything over mid-90s, I guess. So, and again, we'll get into that more later. So let's go back to OK here. Let's back up. Now we have the IM readings. So let's go ahead and hit OK. Since data is cleared, or this drive cycle. Now this is great because it's going to store the information for that vehicle. Awesome. So let's hit OK. Misfire, fuel, we're going to get OKs on all that because we cleared the codes. The ECM has been cleared. Wouldn't it be great if they made one of these for your PC? You could plug it into your USB port and C-Reader should come up with it. Talk to somebody over at Microsoft or something and find one for us, because our computers run slow and we don't know what to do to clean it up. We defrag, you know, some of us are rookies at those PCs, Windows 7, Windows 10, whatever. If you had one of these you could plug in, how cool would that be? Just to run down and tell you what you need to do. So we got the misfire, we got the fuel, etc. All these are going to read incomplete. Let's go to the drive cycle. Now this one is the one you're going to read while you're driving, and a lot of information here. We got heated catalyst, evap system, secondary oxygen sensor, O2 sensor, that's the one we want. I'm sorry, that's heater. EGR, misfire monitoring. Each one of these is going to give you a value. So if you're driving, you can't see that, huh? If you're driving down the road, you can actually drive this and watch the value of each one. And you can Google what your value should be, plus or minus. That's very interesting too. Let's go ahead and start this thing and pretend like we're driving. And this thing runs like crap. So there she is. She's running now. So let's do something on board here. This drive cycle, let's go back down to data stream. View all items, selected items, or view graphed items. All items, selected items, you understand how those both work. It's just something that you want to watch, or you want to watch all of them. So I want to go down to graphed items because I like graphs. They tell the tale. Get supported data. So now in this choice here, you have several different items that you can do. Let me flip this around. I'm going to pause it for a second, be right back. Okay guys, I'm sorry about that. One of the issues with this thing, flipping it around and stuff, it kind of bugs me, but it's like this with all OBD readers, and I don't know why, is that cord that comes out the top. I don't know why it doesn't come out the bottom or even the side. If you're sitting here and it came out to the left, that sure would help, especially with the older ones. If you remember that Actron, that cord is only about 1.5 feet long, so you're actually holding it down here. Now that one doesn't do on data stream live, so it really doesn't matter because you can't use it going down the road anyway. But the ones that do, that you can go down the road, you're not going to be using it as a driver. You're going to have someone else drive. So they're going to be over here. So really, in my opinion, that cord should come off to the left or to the bottom. And if you are using it over here, it should come out the bottom. It's kind of funky like that. Most OBD readers do that. So maybe one day somebody will change that. But okay, so here we are back here. Sorry about that. So we're back here. Let's go back down. Now, if you hit view all items, you're going to have a percentage or a value on each one. And you can scroll down and read each value. So in this case here, we're showing the fuel, and we've got one down there of 4 of 40. What that means is we are on the first one of, we're on the first one of 40, and there's 4 on this page. If I hit down now, I'm going to go to 5 of 8 of 40. So the top one would be number 5, long term would be 6, short term fuel trim would be number 7, long term fuel trim would be number 8. And then there's still 40 of them, so we have that many left. In this case 32, so we're going to scroll down again, and now we have 9 through 12 of 40. I think you understand that. Okay, so each individual one will give you what the reading is. So our RPMs is 700, 720, 687. It's bouncing around because it's running. In this case, that's a little bit low for this car. Intake air temperatures, 48 degrees Celsius, blah, blah, blah. Airflow, absolute throttle position. So you can read all of these. Look at that. I just caught that. Oxygen sensor output voltage, 0.855, 0.200. Okay, I don't like that. So we'll get back to that later, or I'll do another video on that. If you are watching this for that particular situation, please click on my name underneath this video for all the other how-to videos. Scroll down, and I'm going to be uploading one about that situation. So let's scroll down again. Oxygen output sensor, there we are again with that situation, and that's a problem. Short-term fuel trim, let's keep going. Oxygen sensor, short-term fuel trim, 21 of 24, 25 of 28, etc. Now that you see that you can read the values on data stream, let's go back. That's under view all items. Now, if we wanted to select an item, we could do the exact same thing that we just did, only we would do it with the items that we have selected, not all of them. So in other words, if I hit fuel system here and then hit OK, let's see, we're going to hit back, then it'll show us the fault on the fuel system. We'll hit OK, let's hit back, let's go back to selected items. It's going to load this stream again. We're going to scroll down, let's find something else that we want to look at. Let's see, let's say we want engine RPMs. We're going to hit OK. And again, you can do this with 5 to 6 items as well. Sorry, you're going to choose it, the V for value, and then we're going to hit OK, and it's going to show us our RPMs. So each individual one, let me go back, each individual one is to select an item. If you want them all, you're going to hit view items. Now, the graphed item is very interesting. I like this. So you're going to hit OK for graphed items. This one will show you each individual item, but you're going to choose the one you want. So let's say we want engine, let's go back and find the engine speed or idle or something like that so that you can understand it better. Here's our engine RPM. So we're going to hit OK, we'll go back, bam, we have a graph. We can actually see how it's bouncing in real time. And remember, this is a stored information. This is going to hold this information for you. So we can hit OK or back, let's hit back. We'll go back to view graphed items, and let's do something like temperature. So we'll scroll down. Here's our engine coolant temperature. We're going to hit OK, V for value, hit back. This is going to show us that we're at 83 degrees Celsius. That's good because if you have a vehicle that you think is overheating, but your temperature up there shows that you're not overheating, this is going to tell you the truth if that is a problem. Then you'll know whether it's the engine problem that's overheating or if this gauge is reading incorrectly. And on my personal vehicles, I like this because what I do is I read the 83 degrees, and I can actually go up there and I can put a little mark if it's my personal vehicle, and that tells me I'm at 83 degrees and that's normal. And then at that point, if you know when you're off, you're at 0 degrees, or the temperature outside, whatever, you can figure the difference. You can know how much it's going to vary outside. In this case, it's about the same as what it is outside right now. So we're going to hit OK. I'm sorry this video is so long. Let's hit back. Let's hit back again, get away from those. That was our data streams. IM readings we went over, erase codes we went over, and read codes we went over. So I think that's pretty much everything. So there's a bunch of pros to this, and there's a couple of cons. And let's go ahead and recap real quick. The pros. This was not the one with the ABS. So what were the pros? The pros were we were going to be able to live stream that O2 sensor. And let's take a look at the book here real quick. The other pros were, if you remember right, they were onboard control, onboard monitoring, and then that O2 sensor test. Hopefully I'll get this one soon and we can do ABS and SRS. Both of those are important as well. Now the cons, there was a couple of cons, and really the only one I seen was packaging. And we didn't really have an issue with packaging because we knew that there was going to be something inside that was going to make up for it. So not really a con, but the other con was the direction of the wire. So other than that, I think I do enjoy this code reader. I'm going to use it a lot more. I hope this review helps you guys out. If you need to know more about it, visit me at backyardmechanic.org, and we'll have a full write-up on it, a link for it if you'd like. And that's about it, I guess. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please click like, please click subscribe, click on my name underneath this video for all my other how-to videos. And as always, guys, enjoy.